Hey, what's up guys? We're gonna start with the network upgrade today. This is the network rack of the office. So I'm gonna pass to explain you exactly what we have in here. As we said before, this is a commercial line of commercial network. So if you come over, I can let you know what exactly changes what we're gonna do. As you can see, I mean, this is the entire rack. I have on the bottom part, which is a power supply. It is provided by Cyber Power. In the top, I have the modem line, which basically it is the ISP. It's provided by Spectrum Internet Service Provider. And I do have here my router. This is my telephone router or modem. I do have another switch as a Wi-Fi, as an access point that actually the company brings. I have here a small QNAP NAS, which I will have to turn off first. I'm also disconnected because I want the space. And I do have my main switch, which is on top. It is a US24. This is not a PoE switch. This is a regular 24 port switch. It is up to a gigabit. But I have already certain connections that, to be honest, I don't really want to disconnect. I'm gonna do the change and upgrade of the network. I'm probably gonna keep this switch because it contains most of my networks already that are cable, they're wired. And on top I have an XBR system provided by Dahua, which is basically the cameras for the office. This box in here, it names UCK or the USG Cloud second generation. Well, this is the device that actually Ubiquiti uses to cloud connected to this device, which is the entire controller of the network. We call it router normally over what it is networking, and Ubiquiti call it USG. All right. This is also a router firewall. It is a two-in-one. It is a firewall and also it's a router. It used to be one of the first versions of Ubiquiti. Nowadays we have what we have with Ubiquiti. It is the Dream router, or also the Dream machine, which is a bigger scale router. I'm supposed to go to a Dream machine right now, but as we were talking about, we're gonna do the leap to Alta Labs. All right. So for the first shot, we're gonna do basically a replacement of that guy, which is the main modem, the main router at the office, and we're gonna configure static IPs with the help of this computer on my right hand side. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the entire network. As you can see here, I have the entire, but first I'm gonna turn off my main QNAP NAS. I'm gonna hold the power button for some seconds. All right, it's turning off. Today I'm doing the video on a day that there's no service, so okay, it's off. And the next step is I'm going to disconnect the main power source, and this is for security issues. All right, so this is for basically being secure that I'm not gonna have a short when I start opening the entire rack. At this point, the entire network is down. Everything has been turned off. So now we're gonna go on top. We're gonna start opening the side of this rack, and then over here this is the side panel of the rack. We're gonna leave it right there. And I have this one handy to go inside and pull off the wires. All right, guys, I have the power adapter right here on my Cyber Power CPS. This is the wire that actually Alta Labs sent us. I mean, can I use another power adapter? Maybe. It has the same port, but to be honest, it is recommendable always to use the power adapter that actually the company sends it to you in the box. All right, so we're not gonna worry about much right now about how is the wiring. To be honest, I want to reestablish the network because everything is down at this point. I'm gonna just run this wire through here, and then I'm gonna use some zip ties actually to tie this on the side panel rear, and then I'm gonna have the power on the top. All right, guys. So the main important thing in here is gonna be retire the Ubiquiti USG. I'm gonna pull this white cable, which is gonna be for me the one, and the secondary is gonna be the communication wire on number port 1 for my main switch. This is the guy that is going to be retired. Is the Ubiquiti USG firewall, first generation. It actually did his job, so it's done. It's gone. All right. And what is coming in is this router, or router 10 from Route 10 from Alta Labs. As we saying, we have the ports at the front, SFP models. This guy is gonna go on top for the moment. I'm gonna connect the power, and then yeah, I'm gonna connect the one, which is gonna be on port number 1. Okay, guys. For the moment, I'm gonna leave it like that. Now I'm gonna wire up a cable from this guy to directly this computer to see how actually the network will operate. I have to set up the static IP on this Route 10 and see how we go. We already connected the Route 10 in the main rack. Now the next step, it's gonna be connected the one port, which I already did. This is the one that actually, or WAN. So this network is going directly to our main ISP modem or our router, and then we need to configure the static IPs. In my case specifically, we will have to connect the static IPs because that's how it was set up initially. But if you don't have the static IPs and you have another kind of just regular DHCP, then I understand that this should be up and running already as a network. Of course, you still will need to do the configuration of the product. As you can see, I was trying to look for the IP that actually Alta Labs uses, but I was kind of lucky and I just 192.168.1.1, and then boom, I have right there the portal. So coming over, I'm gonna show you how to configure really quick this Alta Labs portal. For me, it's the first time doing it, so I'm kind of learning as well. Now, it actually asked me which one port I'm using. As you can see on top, I'm using an Ethernet RJ45 with number 1, and actually this SFP model in the image can be used as a 1 too. That's amazing, to be honest. I really like it because, I mean, not all the ports, like in the case of this Ubiquiti firewall, they actually have 2 1 ports, but not everyone has 2 1 ports. I have to say that it actually you use 2 1 ports when you actually want to do like a service loop, or when you actually want to avoid the service loop. You want to do like a service backup. If one of the network actually fails, you always will have a secondary network, which could be wireless, Wi-Fi, 5G, to back up your network in case of a disaster or in case of actually a network drop. So for my case, I'm using number 1, and then I'm gonna click in there, and it actually asks me, is your primary internet connection DHCP, automatic, static, or PPPoE? In my case, this is a static IP. All right, guys, I'm gonna click static, and then it actually asks me what the static IP I want to use. What is gonna be the subnet? What is gonna be the gateway IP that I'm going to allocate on this router, and the DNS, of course. Fortunately, I saved the paper that actually Spectrum gave me, and I'm just going to repeat the same information I used to have in this old Ubiquiti firewall router. So I'm gonna copy that information. You don't have to do this. So I'm saying, in the case you are not in static IPs, you just click DHCP and the router is gonna be immediately configured. All right. So I'm gonna start from probably bottom on the DNS because I have it handy. It's going to be 255.255.255.248. Now the gateway IP I'm going to use, of course, I'm going to erase this because this is my directly connection to my office. So I'm not going to tell you those numbers. Hopefully the camera will not catch them as well. Alright. So now we're going to do pretty much the subnet. Getaway right there, and this is the static IP we're gonna use, 140. All right, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be sit over there. Here is actually the subnet 255.255.255.248. actually the DNS. It's gonna be the DNS from the company. You can put the Google, which is 8.8.8.8, or you can use 4.4.8.8, or you can use 8.8.4.4. But in my case, I'm gonna use specifically DNS from Spectrum, which actually is very well known. You can actually Google that, and we'll go from there. All right, I actually completed the information of what is going to be my static IP. Let me just verify that everything is on the same page. I can see that DNS is correct. I can see the gateway IP right there, which is actually, you know, the main address. And then I have 5 static pack, which we pay extra for this, and it is basically because we have you know, other devices like an NAS, which we connect directly, and also we have our DVR or NVR system with the static IPs. All right, so I found a mistake in there actually, and I'm correcting it right now. All right, the DNS, the most important part is that the static IP and the main gateway has to be in the same LAN or in the same network. All right, I think everything is fine right now. I'm gonna click next, and then it's asking me, Alta Labs, does your primary internet require VLAN tagging? For the moment, no. We're gonna do some VLANs later, but I want to reestablish my network right away. So I'm just gonna click no for the moment. Does the primary internet connection require use a specific MAC address? As well, no for the moment. I already have static IPs. Do you require a forced Ethernet link speed? So, well, no, we're gonna do that automatic. Okay, it is kind of well, it's a good question to ask, to be honest, because not everyone knows what is actually the speed that your service provider is delivering. But I'm gonna click no. If you don't know, just click automatic or no. All right, so at this point, Alta Labs is connecting to my ISP. That means the router is actually talking to my modem. So, internet seems to be connected. That is successful, guys. Our next step is going to be disconnect this PoE switch and connect the S8 PoE from Alta Labs. I'm connected already to the internet, as you can see. Now, how can I know that? I know that because it actually says internet connected. The controller is going to be on manage altalab.inc. Now, I can click to the controller right now. I'm going to click in there for actually connected to the controller, or actually I can open another tab right there and see if actually the internet works. How? I just can open a regular website, and right there, boom, Apple page has been opened. That means internet is working. That means my router, it's routing, it's doing their job. That was fast. I like it. All right, let's go for the next step. All right, the next step, it's gonna be connecting the PoE switch that actually Alta Labs sent us. And this has 8 ports, as you can see. The first 4 are actually PoE. The second 4 are not. The connection port is behind. And then, yeah, well, we're basically powering up with the same power adapter that I showed you priorly. And then we're gonna connect this one. My main switch, it's already connected and actually has internet. So most of my devices has to be up and running. Well, I'm gonna connect the switch here, as you can see here with the power, and then I'm gonna wire this guy. Actually, give me just a second. All right, I'm gonna power this guy up right there. The lights are gonna start, you know, blinking, as you can see right there. And then I'm gonna wire it up from the main Ubiquiti USG. I actually could swap that, but the starter kit doesn't have a 24 port. It only brings an 8 port switch. But maybe we do the leap or the upgrade later. We're on the testing, you know, curve. We're gonna see how that works. I'm gonna connect or wire this one. I'm not gonna use any of the PoE ports because I might use them. I'm gonna use port number 8 as an uplink. Alright, so for the moment, that's what it is. I'm gonna let it sit there. Now, I understand that I was working on this computer, but surely we're gonna move to this one, which actually it's gonna be the Alta Labs controller. I already have internet. I have to sign up and then control this guy, okay? Well, our next step is going to configure one of the access points. At least I need some Wi-Fi in the office already. So we're gonna take out the 4x4 MIMO Alta Labs U6 Pro. Alright, so this access point, it's going to be located later, and we're gonna follow that part of the video. It's gonna be outside in the main showroom. But for the moment, we're going to configure right here with one wire to the PoE switch. Okay, so on the back part, I'm gonna remove this plastic, and then I'm gonna connect directly to this 8-port switch, my wire. It has this little kind of like plastic part, which actually you can remove like this. There you go. It comes out, and it's just like a clip. Why they put this here? Because the wire needs to slide there, and then you just go ahead and connect the RJ45 like this. Alright, and it actually sits the wire through there. Now this one, as I'm saying, it's going to be in the back part. As you can see, the access point from Alta Labs already light up. We're going to leave this guy actually sitting here, and then we're going to go to hey, alright guys, it's time for replacing access points. So this ceiling is really high. Majority of houses or commercial properties are this high. So take a look at the height where I am right now on this ladder. This is the access point that has been providing Wi-Fi. It actually has 3 SSIDs and 1 height, and we're gonna actually replace this guy for the Alta Labs. Taking off the Wi-Fi right now. Alright. Okay, Wi-Fi, you are retired. Bye. So I'm gonna use a regular screw to remove the drink, remove this, the plate. Alright, this is the metal parts that actually have the other one. So the bracket for Alta Labs is this one, and it actually comes with a set of screws. Now I've seen a video where actually this one has to be kind of locked. Alright guys, we have installed the access point U6 Pro from Alta Labs. I seen this metal part. I actually not using it, to be honest. I feel like on a flat surface it creates some instability. As you can see that this is bouncing. So unless I'm installing it wrong and it goes like this, which I doubt it, because the installation on the back part is in this position. So for the moment, I'm not gonna use this metal part. We're gonna see how that goes for the second access point. This is already right here on the bracket, and I put 3 screws actually to secure them on the beam. Okay, the access point color in the light is white, and I understand the Wi-Fi is already up and running. For me, for the moment, I'm gonna go down, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice. I actually get rid of the wire that was here, passing the wire through the beam, making a hole right there. So for the moment guys, we're gonna think about this metal part later, but as I'm saying, the white part actually secures in good. You have to put 3 minimum screws, I feel, on that white part that comes bracket from Alta Labs. And then yeah, we're gonna see what we're gonna do with this. Maybe it has another functionality, but for the moment we're gonna call it in. That's it. I mean, we already installed our first access point. We're gonna go for the second one later. But Wi-Fi, it's already up and running. All right, we're up and running right now. The network, it has already completed. We already configured some actually VLANs over what it is, the cloud controller of Alta Labs. To be honest, it was really easy. Yeah, I have to count that I have actually 4 certifications of configuration on cloud-based portals with Ubiquiti Networks. But to be honest, I think like the way to do it, it was like not that confusing. So I appreciate that from Alta Labs. And yeah, I mean, the Wi-Fi speeds are amazing. I'm really surprised. We're kicking out around 500 megabytes on speed. I'm gonna show you you know, how actually my network rack is looking for the moment. I'm gonna improve this with more cables, but better patch cables. Take a look. So this is how it's ending for the moment. This is the swap we did, you know. In the top part, it is the Alta Labs router, and I have still a DVR. I'm keeping this Wi-Fi switch. Hopefully we can get, you know, an Alta Lab 24 switch shortly, but for the moment this is what it is. I have still the Wi-Fi switch of 24 ports. I have still my modem right there, and the QNAP NAS, and also the Alta Lab switch from 8 ports PoE. I mean, I really like the way that actually the switches are looking. You know, it's a really nice way to put the brand right there with color, I have to say. Okay, so this is what it is right now. This is how it's looking. I have the power adapters at the front. I would like them to put on the back, but it's really complicated. So, alright, this is what it is right now, guys. I hope you enjoy this tutorial and have some advantage using Alta Labs on your projects, okay? So far, I'm gonna leave it right here, and if you have any questions about how actually the portal works, yeah, let me know. Put me a comment or anything, and I will just try to do a follow-up in the answers. I will still keep this network under evaluation, of course, and if there's any update that happens or anything new, I have to say, configuration that I will notice interesting, I will let you know, guys, probably on the comments. All right, comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for following Lake Tahoe Computers. Bye.